Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Olympia is a famous American beer company, much like Pabst and Coors and Schlitz, and like other legendary breweries, the Olympia name got attention in pop culture.
Dustin Hoffman drank Olympia beer in the 1967 movie The Graduate. You also see it in the American Graffiti, Every Which Way But Loose, The Blues Brothers, Friday the 13th, and so many more.
Olympia was first a regional brewery built in the late 1800s in Tumwater, Washington, near Olympia. Later, Pabst owned it, and then 15 years ago, the original brewery closed. Today, Miller Coors owns the brand.
Olympia's rich history is all captured in this book. It's called the Olympia Brewing Company. It includes lots of photographs, audio tour, and vintage advertisements.
The author is local. Paul Bialas wrote books about the history of Pabst, Schlitz, Miller, and Leinenkugel's, and now Olympia, which
this is the best.
Great to see you.
Great to see both of you.
This is so fun. All of your other books have been local breweries. You know, we talked about some of them, Pabst and Schlitz and Leinenkugel's. Why did you decide to go out west?
One of the Olympia rep was a big fan of the Pabst and Schlitz books with the abandoned brewery feel. And he said, Paul, if you're ever near Seattle, you have to come to Tumwater. There's 2 abandoned brew houses with Olympia, and I'll get you access. And the schedule came in and I was able to do it, and it was really, really cool to be out there.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've collected Olympia and Ham's beer memorabilia for years, since we used to own a distributorship, and I think some of the history behind it is so cool. Talk a little bit about the owner, the founder, and kind of just the history behind the actual beer itself.
Leopold Schmidt was a very interesting person. He's an immigrant. He comes to the United States. He goes out west chasing the gold rush, and then after the gold rush, he becomes a carpenter, and he partners in a brewery. He makes that brewery the biggest one in Montana, and then he leaves it all behind because he goes to Tumwater and finds an artesian well that he believes can brew the best beer in the world, and that's where the "It's the Water" slogan came from.
Right, because it's in the water. Makes a difference.
And there was sort of a mythical thing about artesian water for a while, wasn't there? As if it was like a mythical thing that created this delicious tasting water.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is it just sounds cool, because one page in the book is, what the heck is an artesian spring? You know, everybody, let's explain what it is. So it's really, it sounds cool, but it is a natural spring that flows out of the ground on its own. It makes it easy to get to the water.
Yeah.
There's a little connection to Milwaukee because he sent his son to Milwaukee.
Yeah, Leopold Schmidt sent his son to learn brewing here in Milwaukee. Why not? We've got Pabst and Schlitz. I mean, we're the biggest brewing capital of the world. So Peter Schmidt came here, learned the brewing trade, and then took it back. And that's when, you know, the brewery just skyrocketed in the 1900s.
Now it's owned by Miller Coors, which is in Southern California, right?
Actually, the Pabst Brewing Company.
Oh, Pabst owns it now.
Yes, yep.
Okay. So it's gone through all these different transitions and different owners and that kind of thing. Does it have to do with efficiency and how beer is brewed, that it goes through so many different hands?
You know, in the late 70s, these were all giants. And that competition, that was the mega brewery period. That's what's neat with the photographs from the book. It's that mega brewing time. But that competition whittled them out, and that's why it changed hands. You had to kind of join forces or get defeated, and we see that with a lot of companies these days.
Yeah. Do you think people ever still drink? I don't see Olympia anywhere anymore. I mean, Ham's is kind of making a way back, but Olympia, I don't see anywhere. Are they even making it?
Locally, they're not here. Out west, they do a little bit, but it's kind of
pretty hard to find.
Yep. It's a classic story, you know.
Your book is going to come out a little bit later this year, so you expect November, December timeframe, right?
Yep.
One of the things that people love about your books is it's not just the book. You also include a CD that has interviews very often with retirees, people who worked in the breweries. It also includes music that you help create.
That's right.
And then vintage advertisements. Do you think that just adds to the whole experience for someone who's interested in the book?
I think if you're going to do a history book, why not hear from the people that worked there? And Paul Knight was the brewmaster there for decades. He wrote the introduction. He talks about the brewery. Let's hear from him.
That's cool.
It is cool. In the beginning of the book, then you do some remake photos with some of your friend old timies. If people kind of jump in on this kickstarting journey, they can maybe even get some of their old photos recreated.
In the book, there's me in the book.
Love it.
I love it.
So I love photography, so I remade photos just for the chapter openings, not to confuse anybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, of like our parents, you know, drinking an Oli.
Oh, I've got
fun.
some old ones. I might have to join in on that campaign to add in.
You've got a Kickstarter campaign, and some of the vintage things that we have out here are things that people actually can purchase, right?
Yeah, the idea is I'm self-published, and to help with the printing fees, I kind of offer the book as a pre-sale through Kickstarter. You get it discounted. You get a chance to get one of these cool hats maybe
Yeah.
with it. I mean, there's fun things. It's fun. There's items on there that are super rare. If you love retro brewery stuff, I mean, you really should check it out.
I can't wait.
So cool.
And it helps bring it to life.
Yeah, your books are so fun. It was great to see you again.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much for being here. We appreciate
Your best book yet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tiffany.
I know people are going to want to help you with your Kickstarter tour. So here's the deal. The book will be available probably in November, December, somewhere around there. You've got a link to the Kickstarter.com project on your website. You can find out more about all of that by going to our website. It is themorningblend.com. And don't forget to look for the Olympia Brewing Company once it's published. Thanks again
Paul.
so much.
Awesome. Thank
Great
you
to
both.
see you.